I'm rolling out pâté brisé this morning, which is a French pastry, and I'm making a galette. This is my second galette, and it's been in the refrigerator for the last 20 minutes. I did make it in the Cuisinart with 2½ cups of flour, a cup of cold unsalted butter, a teaspoon of salt, and a teaspoon of sugar. And then I do about anywhere from a 1/4 cup to a 1/2 cup of ice water. I will do a demonstration of making pastry by hand and not the Cuisinart. It is nice having machines because it's much faster. But I have all these fresh berries that I bought this week at the farmer's market. I bought a quart of blueberries and 3 what we call punnets or baskets of blackberries, and we had an extra cup of boysenberries, which a friend picked for me. So we need to use these berries up, and I put them in a big bowl with a cup of sugar, 2 cups of sugar, sorry, zest of a lemon, and about a 1/4 cup of cornstarch to thicken up, because we'll have a lot of juice from the berries. I'm dusting off my pastry now so that it doesn't have too much flour. We don't need to incorporate more flour when we're making pastry. Anyway, I'm going to roll it up onto my rolling pin. Oh, there's a big piece right there. You can feel with your fingers the edges. And you also don't need as much room as you might think. Anyway, what I like about a galette is that it's free form, it's a rustic pastry, and it's very easy to make. Let's say if you're having people over for supper, not very far in advance. So, and it can be baking while you're having dinner. There, and I've just put it into, in fact, I didn't have an extra pie dish, so I am using right now an old cake tin. My pie dishes have all been lent out, and I need to get them back. Anyway, it works. I just gently press the pastry into the bottom of the cake tin, and then I leave the flaps over. Here is my blueberry, boysenberry, blackberry mix with the sugar, cornstarch, and lemon zest. You know what I forgot? I do often put a spice in, and I love nutmeg with berries, just a bit. So, if you can wait a minute, I'm going to just grate some fresh blackberry. Nutmeg on top of the fruit. Just gives just a gentle taste. Why I choose nutmeg is it's very subtle, and I've also used a pinch of cloves, and you can play with your spices. I stay away from cinnamon unless I'm using apples, because cinnamon overpowers, and we don't want to overpower these beautiful fruits, but we just want a little subtle something. And I like I'm using the fresh nutmeg clove nut, really, and just grating it on a little nutmeg grater, which I think I've had for a very long time. So just a very fine grating, and it'll give just a very subtle flavor. Now I'm just going to put in about a tablespoon of unsalted butter. It just gives a little extra flavor, something I've always done. As I said, it already has grated lemon zest in with the fruit that I mixed in. Now I'm just folding up the pastry in this rough fashion, and it leaves a slight hole. I even have a little hole there. You can see it doesn't matter because it'll cook and be all golden brown. Now I'm going to put just a little bit of cream brush it onto the pastry so that you can use cream mixed with an egg yolk. You can just use cream. Some people brush on even a little milk, just so that you get a nice golden brown. Sometimes people put on, I don't know if I feel like it, a little bit of sugar. Anyway, here it is in a pie tin that is really a cake tin, and it'll be fine because it's a very rustic pie, or galette as the French say. Now we're putting it into a 375 oven for an hour. It needs an hour to get well cooked. There'll be a runoff of juice, so I often have a baking pan, an old pan. I keep underneath the pie so that then I can wash it and put it back in the oven, so I keep the oven clean. I'm using a 1920s Wedgwood. It's a collector's item. It has a relatively small oven, so I feel like anyone can bake a pie or a tart or a galette on, maybe not a Bunsen burner, but definitely a very old stove. And here's our finished tart, the galette, the rough berry pie. And it's golden brown, and it does have juice, but it's not too runny. It's I think we put enough cornstarch in, so it's perfect.